concluded for the day. They're taking place against a background of violence in Afghanistan. The Taliban's taken advantage of the U.S. troop withdrawal, launching several offensives and capturing large parts of the country. The government's peace minister has called on the Taliban to be flexible in its negotiation and warns no group can take the country by force. Osama bin Javed has more from the talks in Doha.
As day one concluded of the talks between the Taliban and representatives from Afghanistan, a number of issues were discussed, including the release of prisoners, delisting from the United Nations list. There was talk about amending the constitution, an all-inclusive government, and a political roadmap towards peace. The Taliban insisting that before there's a discussion about a ceasefire across Afghanistan, there needs to be an inclusive government which represents all segments of the Afghan society, not specifying how they're going to achieve it, but wanting that as the first step. But they've also been saying that because such a high-powered delegation has come to the Qatari capital, they're willing to discuss everything that they are bringing to the table.
We hope and we want and we expect that they should have brought something to give momentum. And on our side, we are ready to show flexibility. And our aim is clear, and that is to have an Islamic Afghan inclusive government in place in Afghanistan and put an end to this phase of fighting and enter a new phase which will be a peace and good for every Afghan.
As the Taliban discuss peace, the situation on the ground in Afghanistan has been deteriorating. There are people who have been expressing their concerns about how Taliban have been taking not just district but provincial capitals, as well as coming towards the capital Kabul as well. We asked the Afghan Minister for Peace about what his hope is from this level of talks, as they're definitely not going to be conclusive in 48 hours, but he thinks that what he wants the other side to realize is that there's no solution by force to Afghanistan's problems, and the only way ahead is through negotiations.
We have to keep the door of the negotiation open, because the solution to the conflict is not violence. So the solution is actually a meaningful negotiation. To be very frank with you, we've been quite flexible and also tolerant since the start of the talks. What's important is that I call upon the Taliban to show the same flexibility and same understanding, that they need to understand that to have the intention of taking Afghanistan by force is not going to work.
On Saturday, these talks are going to be concluded. They are being closely monitored by the United States, the European Union, as well as the hosts in Qatar. All sides not directly part of these negotiations, but doing what they can to try and persuade all sides, to show restraint, to show flexibility, to try and think of the Afghan people, because as this fight is ongoing, as the United States is all set to leave by September the 11th, the people on the ground in Afghanistan are afraid. They're thinking that they might lose all of the hard-fought freedoms that they've achieved in the last 20 years. And on the Taliban side, trying to tell them that there is no forceful solution to Afghanistan, and peace will only come when all sides sit on the negotiations table. They continue their work by talking to each other and come to a consensus on bringing peace to Afghanistan.